Highly trained canines and handlers from all over the state are training in Springfield this week. These dogs are special. They're trained to detect chemicals used to start arson fires. Now, the dogs and their trainers are here from 13 different states and Washington, D.C. for a 3-day recertification class. Arson dogs play a key role in determining the cause of many of the suspicious fires. Studies have shown that trained dogs are better at detecting the chemicals behind arson fires than mechanical instruments. Regular training is necessary because the dogs' findings are evaluated in court cases.
Their training records are going to testify in court cases as well also. And every time we go to court and we use a dog in a case, the opposing lawyers are looking at the records in the meantime to see whether the dogs are well trained.
The dogs and trainers go through training yearly. According to the Illinois State Fire Marshal, the dogs are essential in the ability to build cases for arson because they can locate chemicals used for arson much faster than people can. Lincoln residents will have a chance to learn more about the high-speed rail changes coming to the city and the renovation plans for the Lincoln Depot. The city of Lincoln will hold a public hearing where they will share information and welcome input on a proposal to close the Pekin Street crossing for high-speed rail. The meeting is this coming Monday, the 16th at 6 p.m. in the City Council chambers in City Hall. The city has purchased the Lincoln Depot property. Now they're considering what to do with the Pekin Street crossing in order for it to work with the new renovations and trains. Well, the city is also improving their downtown area near the trains. They hope that they will attract train riders to visit the town when they see what the town actually has to offer during their commute. District 186 is urging parents to get moving on vaccinations, that is. The district changed its policy for the coming school year, and next year, students will be required to have all of their shots within days of the start of classes, or the students will be sent home.
Please do not wait until the first day of school. The onus is really on the parents here. You're going to have to step up and make sure your children get what they need before they start school.
Well, for schools that start in July, they will have to have immunizations completed by August 1st. So mark your calendars and make sure that vaccination clinics will actually come to Washington and Jefferson middle schools on August 4th and 5th and on August 9th at Springfield High School. Dignitaries from across the state are in Springfield today to pay respect to the family of State Fire Marshal Thomas L. Armstead. Armstead called the capital city home for 77 years. He served for 28 years in the fire department. During his service, he established the Medal of Honor for those killed in the line of duty, and he updated the fire codes to help prevent fires and keep families safe.
Tom has big shoes to fill, as far as this goes. He's one of those everyday heroes.
Armstead also had a big influence in the Firemen's Memorial statue at the Capitol, and he had a hand in establishing the scholarship program for kids whose parents died in the line of duty. In the first poll of the general election, Republican Bruce Rauner holds a comfortable lead over Pat Quinn for the race for governor. Now, this is according to a new poll by We Ask America and Reboot Illinois. The poll, conducted earlier this week, surveyed over 1,000 registered voters. They were asked who they would vote for if the election was today. But even though Rauner holds a lead, analysts say it's still too early in the election cycle to make any bold predictions.
An early lead, I guess it's nicer to have an early lead than be behind early, but there's a lot of game left to be played, and no one should read too much into an early lead.
Political analysts say that Rauner's failure to take a stance on big state issues could hurt him in the race. They also say that this race could get ugly and may attract national attention, which could lead to record-breaking campaign spending. New details tonight on a shooting in Decatur that killed a 19-year-old over the weekend. Investigators say the shootings may be related to an ongoing feud between two groups. The crime happened just after midnight Saturday morning. Decatur police say that they found 19-year-old Christopher King suffering from a gunshot wound in the 700 block of West Center Street. He died hours later at Decatur Memorial Hospital. Tonight, Police are reviewing surveillance video from neighbors in the area.
Basically, the individual who was shot was just hanging out in the area. The information we received was that there were some dogs that started barking near a residence, and he went over to see what was going on, at which time there were shots that rang out.
There are still no suspects in the case. Police want anyone with information that could help their investigation to call the Decatur Police Department. Or if you want to remain anonymous, you can call Crime Stoppers at 423-TIPS. Gay couples around the state are getting ready to say I do as the gay marriage law goes into effect June 1st. This morning, for the first time, Sangamon County gay couples were able to obtain a marriage license. But not every couple in Illinois will have the chance to say their vows on the 1st. ABC News Channel 20's Andrew Hansen explains.
Caitlin Winterbauer and Stephanie Alford, a couple in Springfield, are getting married next year.
My whole life, I've just been looking forward to my wedding day, and I'm pretty lucky to have found it this early on in life.
For them, being allowed to legally marry in their home state is a long time coming.
I never really thought the day would come, especially, small town Springfield, but yeah, I'm really, really excited about it.
While the gay marriage law goes into effect June 1st, not every couple will be able to get a license that day. That's because June 1st is a Sunday. County clerk's offices will be closed. Here's how some central Illinois counties are handling gay marriage licenses. Sangamon County is issuing them now. Macon and Champaign counties have been issuing licenses for months, but Christian, Morgan, and Logan counties will wait until Monday, June 2nd. Cass County, meanwhile, has been issuing licenses for months. Opponents of gay marriage have concerns, though, about the law going forward, pointing to their religious freedom being in jeopardy.
We were told the same thing with the civil unions law, and then we lost our state contracts for foster care and adoption because we wouldn't place kids in same-sex settings. So yeah, I mean, words are nice, but it's the law and the interpretation of the law by the courts that count, and that's yet to be determined.
Meanwhile, gay couples from around the state are preparing for their wedding.
It's one big celebration, pretty much, this entire year.
In Springfield, Andrew Hansen, ABC News Channel 20.
16 other counties throughout the state are allowing same-sex couples to apply for their marriage licenses as early as this morning. The cost of a license is $75 in Sangamon County unless you already have a civil union license, in which case it will be free. Now, like all marriage licenses, you must apply at least one day in advance of your ceremony.
Tornado-ravaged areas in Illinois may have an easier time recovering from damage in the future. This after a bill passes the House and Senate that would place caps on property taxes for businesses that have been hit by tornadoes. The measure comes after the 2013 tornadoes that destroyed several central Illinois communities. Rebuilding increases the value of the property. The measure will keep property taxes at the previous year's rate, and after that, the rate would not exceed 4% of the property's original property tax rate. Representative Chad Hayes, who's a sponsor of the bill, is confident the governor will sign it when it gets to his desk.
State Senator Sam McCann speaking about this week's decision not to run for governor as an independent. The Republican from Carlinville first drew speculation when he didn't vote in March's primary. Candidates for governor cannot vote in Illinois primaries. McCann tells us that he did it as an insurance policy in case he chose to run. Now, he tells News Channel 20 that he made the decision not to run a while back. McCann says that he realized he didn't have enough time to collect the needed signatures to get onto November's ballot. The Republican says that he believes Bruce Rauner could use more help from downstate in his bid for governor.
Mr. Rauner needs to sell himself to my constituents, and if he does that, if he sells himself to downstaters, then he'll get their vote. If he doesn't, he probably won't, regardless of whether I or anyone else works for him.
McCann didn't say whether he would help Rauner himself. The Republican did say that it would be a stretch to vote for Governor Quinn, a Democrat, in November. 4 Christian County men reaching a big milestone in their lives today. All 4 now graduates of Christian County's drug court. Now, it's an intense supervised program that helps people with substance abuse problems, and it includes being tested several times a week along with weekly counseling meetings. The program does cost taxpayers about $6,000 per person, but organizers say that it's worth it because 3 out of 4 who complete the program do not relapse, meaning taxpayers are saving hundreds of thousands of dollars in the legal system.
The bigger story for me is just seeing the individuals and the lives that change. You start to see people getting back self-confidence and self-esteem, and they get employed and they re-establish the contacts with their families that oftentimes have been, pretty damaged.
The program is voluntary and is only for nonviolent drug offenders. The program recently expanded to include mental health court along with a veterans treatment program.